So, when I left off last time, was at the rave down in Fresno, California, hanging out with a DJ named Mike Edge, who was working at the rave for a visual arts company called Eye Candy. And he liked the way I snuck into the concert, or snuck into the rave, because he didn't like the promoter. And so he hooked me up with backstage passes. Ended up kicking a big weed on the ground while I was there. Did I get to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, got released from the police like a boss. I remember I instantly as soon as I got out, I hugged the first person I saw. Like I just ran out and there was some dude. And he was like all freaked the fuck out on why I ran up and hugged him. I'm like, they just let me out of jail. He's like, cool, don't hug me.
I can see that.
Yeah. Totally reasonable request. So I make my way back to the jungle room. I end up getting all the DJs that were spinning that night, that were backstage. I got them all to sign my certificate of release from the Fresno Police Department. And then, I remember at one point we were hanging out backstage, and there was this little area behind this fence type thing. And, all of a sudden, we were back there. My buddy Mike was smoking. I don't think I hadn't started smoking at that point. He was back there smoking, and all of a sudden we just hear this loud thud. How do you save them?
Yeah.
Click on them right there, or just click on them.
But it just brings it up. Do I have to open each one?
Download.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, okay, so we were outside smoking, or he was outside smoking, in this little backstage VIP area, and we heard this, all of a sudden we just heard this loud thud, and I turned around and I looked just past this little partition, and there's a backpack, somebody just tossed a backpack over the fence into the VIP area.
Yeah.
And me and my buddy were like, oh, what the fuck, what's in there, dude? And so I run up on it, I open the thing, I found this fucking whole just ounce of weed. And I'm just instantly fucking bling, fucking put it in my pocket, and then we just he's just let's get out of here. So we just fucking walked on out. And I was big huge black dude fucking comes walking past us all nonchalantly, and then pretty fucking instantly is who the fuck was back here? And right as he was screaming who the fuck was back here was when we were going through the exit door. We were a good 20, 30 feet from him by this point. So we were just Gondo.
I bet.
So that was awesome. And then we went down into we went to stay the night at this nerd's house that was running the Eye Candy visual effects with the DJ that I was hanging out, whose name's Mike Edge. So Mike Edge got hired by Eye Candy to go do this visual art effects and shit for this rave, and they put him up with somebody else that worked for the company, with this whatever this fucking nerd's name is. We'll call him Daniel. It's kind of a nerdy name.
Nerdy name, yeah.
And so anyways, okay, so the party fucking ends up getting, so they put Mike Edge up at this kid's house, and this kid's parents were out of town. He was the kid was out of high school. He had a younger brother that was probably 14 or some shit like that. They were home alone, and So the party ends up getting shut down early. Like, the cops end up closing it down, like, right at fucking daybreak. They just, like, turn the fucking music off, turn the lights on. They're all just, like, got over their bullhorns, like, this event is over, you must leave now. Very much, like, wouldn't let me go, like, towards the direction of my fucking, where the hippie van was. Like, they just had everything shut down and blocked off. And we're just fucking dicks about the whole situation. So I was, like, separated from my shit. And, like, it was before cell phones and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, it was just, I was fucked. And luckily I was, like, with that Mike guy still. And he was just like, just fucking come hang out with me. Because this kid's house that I'm staying at is a fucking nerd. He's like, you should meet his brother, dude. He's got this little nerdy brother. And they're just fucking nerds. And, like, come hang out with me. I'm going to go do some record shopping in San Francisco. And he's like, it's going to be fucking rad. And so he just, like, shows up and tells this kid that he's, like, staying with his... He's like, yeah, this guy's name's Curtis, and he's coming with me. And, like, we go there. We end up making our way into San Francisco. Like, transits. Like, so we get off the bus, or was it a train? We took a little train into San Francisco, and as soon as I got off the train in San Francisco, I took, like, maybe 3 steps out of the train station, the little, like, thing that I was getting off at, and fucking, like, kicked this hypodermic needle. And I'm like, oh, welcome to San Francisco.
Yep.
And, like, we got off in this particular area that this fucking asshole told us to get off in. He's like, oh yeah, get off in the, I think it was the Mission District. And, like, he just, like, told us the fucking, one of the most, like, ghetto fucking areas in San Francisco, like, you don't want to be. Like, we instantly, like, he was like, Mike's like, oh, that guy was fucking with us. We should not have gotten off here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, look around you, dude. And, like, this place looked fucking sketched out. And, we, like, instantly start getting followed by this fucking black dude who was, I can't remember what he was fucking saying. He's asking us if we wanted to buy some crack. And we're like, no, we're good. And he was just like, fuck that, dude. You're going to buy some fucking crack from me. Like, he thought that, like, we were, like, looking to buy crack from, like, somebody, but just not him or something.
Yeah.
And, like, we ended up, like, ducking into this fucking store. And, like, dude inside, like, made us buy something, or we had to leave. And, like, we explained the situation. He's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, buy something or leave. And, like, as soon as we buy something, he's just like, all right, like, here's your receipt. Like, you can go now. And fucking, like, that dude had, like, wandered off by that point. So what happened? Then me and Mike hung out in San Francisco for the day. Like, he, like, went around to all these, like, different, like, record companies that are, like, based out of San Francisco, and bought, like, several $100s worth of records at a couple of different shops. And so at some point, like, we ended up at Haight-Ashbury, and we bought these mushrooms from somebody that, like, had brought them down from the Eugene Hemp Fest that we were at just prior to going down to San Francisco. And so we take these mushrooms back to this nerd's house and end up doing them once the nerd and his brother fall asleep. And at some point, Mike Edge starts getting hella fucking paranoid about how he thought the whole place, the house, the family, the meetup with the fucking people from, like, Eye Candy sending them there and everything was all like a setup from the DEA.
Okay.
And his proof of this was the Too Perfect of family life photos that was, like, all over the house and the like, photo albums. He's like, nobody's this fucking happy. And he was like going through the photos, like family photos and shit, not like posed photos, just like regular photos. Like it was just like a regular, normal, happy family. Like, effort that is going into that, like you would have to know like ecstasy cooks and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I do. He's like, I totally know a few people that like that cook ecstasy down in Dallas. And I was like, oh. Well, like I'm like, do you sell a lot? And he's like, yeah, I buy it by the fucking, what did he call it? By the K lot, is what he referred to it as. By the 1,000 pills.
Jeez.
He's like, yeah, I buy it by the K lot. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, well then it's completely plausible that like they might, like I guess it would be like you're big enough to do that. I don't think that that's going on here, but if he's like, because he's like, what do? We need to fucking take off. Because when I was explaining like that, instantly like, and that's going on here. Oh, I mean, if you have means and a way to get, like I didn't have much money yet because I've been seeing him pull it and wallet like all day. I'm like, if you want to take off and then like go to a hotel right now, like we fucking, I'm totally bounce with you, dude. Like he's just like, okay, let's go do that. So he's like packed up his shit. Like I grabbed my fucking backpack and we just fucking bailed middle of the night. Fucking just took off walking. He ended up like he called a cab and because he had a cell phone. So he called a cab. Cab came, picked us up, and took us back to that tram thing that takes you back into San Francisco. Because like we were good like half an hour, 45 minutes outside of San Francisco, at this kid's house in like in the suburbs. So we go into San Francisco, like get a hotel room, and then like we just like finished tripping in there. Pretty much everything was like fine. Never got like raided by the FBI. I kept on telling the kid, I'm like, so did the nerd ever ask you for drugs? And he's like, no, dude, he doesn't even do drugs. I'm like, but did he ever ask you for any amount whatsoever? He's like, no. He's a fucking nerd. And I'm like, okay, like, are you not getting where I'm going with this? And so then, like, I hung out with them for, like, another day or two in San Francisco. We're just, like, walking around and, like, seeing shit. At some point, we made our way to a skate park that is somewhere down by the waterfront. And it is the same exact skate park that is, and like, area layout as on Tony Hawk.
Okay.
You know, the Tony Hawk level that San Francisco, yeah, that shit. Like, we were sitting in there, and my buddy Mike's like, I've been here before. And I was like, I thought you said you've never been to San Francisco. He's like, no, I've been right here before, like in this spot. I'm like, and he's like looking around. He's like, this fucking Tony Hawk. It's like this fucking Tony Hawk. That's where you fucking rail slide all over the place. I'm like, we all like get up because we were just like laying in the park, like just like soaking up the sun, like just being fucking like midday with nothing to fucking do but be like baked. So like we got up, like checked out the fucking, like we were in fact like in the area that was like Tony Hawk's skate park was based off of, and that thing. It was like, I told him too, I'm like, yeah dude, I'm from fucking Portland area. I'm like, Burnside Bridge, like level on that is like legit. What is that?
Our alarms wake up.
Ick. So yeah, I partied with him until he fucking had to go back home. I think he gave me like 15 or 20 bucks and then fucking gave me the rest of all the weed that he had bought before he had to get back on the plane. So then by that point, I was just alone in San Francisco. Like, not really any money. All the stuff that I had taken with me on my trip was like in this hippie van that I had no longer any access to. And it was super lame for like 5 seconds. And then as soon as I was like, I'm fucking alone, this sucks, dude, what am I gonna fucking do? I look over and I see Richard Horton getting onto a bus across the street. And like, this is the guy that I like got separated at the, like, Fresno's not exactly like right next to San Francisco.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm saying that for,
Okay.
it's like a 3-4 hour drive, maybe. Seemed like that, anyways. Fuck, just forever and ever and ever. So yeah, I look over and I see Rick Horton standing there, and I'm just like, or getting on the bus, and I just fucking start screaming. I'm like, Horton, fucking Horton, just screaming at fucking murder. And like, he looks over and sees me and just starts fucking wigging the fuck out, and makes the bus, like, because the bus was starting to move. And I'm like, fucking hard, like, I'll jump up, smacking the fucking window. That's like how I got his attention and shit. And like, he gets up and like made the bus driver like stop the fucking bus, let him off. And so we're just like, what's up? He's like, I went down to LA and fucking was staying at these people's house, and they were just cheese dicks, so they kicked me out. And he was like, basically, like, he had 2 different backpacks. He's like, so all your stuff's on that bus, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all my stuff's on that bus too, except for these 2 backpacks. So like, he brought his 2 backpacks with him to the rave. I had enough sense to do that. And so he was like, I'll let you wear these clothes that are in the backpack if you like, you want to carry this backpack for me. And I was just like, fucking deal. So like, had some like spare clothes. Like, I was instantly just decked out in fucking all this like urban gear. Like, seriously, looked like I was like some professional b-boy or some shit.
That's hilarious.
Like a like Kangol fucking, like big old Kangol fucking rave pants and shit. Fucking ridiculous. Just like, it's like all my clothes were that. And so we're in fucking San Francisco, and we don't have that much money between us. Richard had made like a little bit of money selling weed on the way down on the bus trip, on the hippie bus, but not very much. Like, I think like he had like $80 or some shit. I had fucking like the $20 that fucking Mike had given me, and like maybe an 1/8 of weed or something like that. And quickly figured out that you can't just go selling fucking weed in San Francisco, because like everybody fucking is like, you're selling on somebody else's property. And it was like I tried it once and fucking like was quickly shut the fuck down and like made to buy fucking some weed from that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, here you go, sir.
He's like, you don't fucking you don't buy a 5-bag from me right this second, I'm gonna fucking knock you the fuck out and I will bust your teeth out of your fucking mouth. And I was just like, oh, here, dude. And I was just trying to fucking raise up some money for some lunch, dude. Sorry, won't do it again. Don't worry. I was like trying to hang out in the park, and then I heard this guy say, fucking, does anybody got any weed for sale? I'm like, I got a fucking 5-bag. I want some lunch. Because the weed was for me. I had really no intention of selling that shit.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, that was like all we really had between the two of us was like probably a total of $100 and some weed. And so what happened? We rode the bus all night the first night. All fucking night. We're like, oh, this is hella chill. Like, just ride the whole fucking bus. Or actually, our first plan was like, oh, we'll just go to the fucking beach. Fucking make a bonfire. I'm like, it'll be fine, dude. We get there. The beach in San Francisco, for people that don't know, is nothing like the beaches up here in the Pacific Northwest. There's not like rolling sand dunes. There's not like plenty of area that has been undeveloped. There's no driftwood. There's no motherfucking driftwood.
That'd be odd. Like,
it is weird as fuck because like it's just this like concrete like barrier, and then there's like from this wall to that wall there's a good 15-20 feet of like beach, and then there's just the water. And it was and like, so me being from Pacific Northwest and not knowing a whole lot about like California and how like it has different climates, I just assumed once we were in California, like everything was going to be hot and honky-dory, like wasn't going to have to worry about fucking heat at all, dude. We get to San Francisco, and that is not the goddamn case. It was just cold as fuck, just foggy as shit. Really just like the shittiest conditions for like being on a beach. No fucking driftwood available at all. Just like didn't like matter how far we walked and looked. I was like, dude, there ain't no fucking trees around here for there to be driftwood from.
No.
We're like, son of a bitch. So like we went and like grabbed a bus and just like ended up staying on a bus that ran all night. So we just fucking hung out on the bus like with like some like we're just like talking to some kid on the bus. Like that's what he was doing. He was like also homeless and fucking because at this point I was like pretty much kind of homeless. Like didn't want to go back home. Like was having fun. Like it wasn't like, you know, starving or anything. I was just fresh out of Rainbow Gathering, so I didn't give a fuck. Like I didn't have any responsibilities whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was just being a vagabond in San Francisco. And so we rode this bus all night, and then like hung out the next day. I think the next day we went to the train station to go spange up some money to get tickets to get our asses back home.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, going asking all these different people for like 20s. You got a spare 20? You got a spare 20 so we can get back up to fucking Washington State? Like, we're making fucking some money doing that. Like, I made like 60 bucks within the course of like
probably a couple
15, 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's just people getting off the fucking like actual train.
Oh,
not just like a tram, like Greyhound train. Fucking, it was that train station.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like asking that anybody that looked like they fucking might have money, like, can you spare some money for me to go take it back up to fucking Washington State, stranded? And this dude should have took his ticket, like totally offered. He's like, I'm actually staying in town for another couple of days, and I have a ticket to Portland. Like, you're welcome to it. And I was like, I'm stranded here with a buddy though, dude. So like, that's not gonna do me any good. But thank you.
Oh.
Right after I do that, motherfucking Horton walks up to a security guard and says, "Is that a real badge?" And fucking pulls a badge off the security guard's fucking vest. The guy's just like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here!" Like, I've been watching you guys fucking ask people for money and fucking do shit. And I was like, dude, legit fucking pissed off, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, idiot. Why'd you do that? You just got us kicked out of there. Like, we could have stayed all day making money.
Mm-hmm.
So then he wants to go, like, we're in San Francisco walking around, and we, like, come to this area that's, like, it's on one of the Grand Theft Autos. in the San Francisco, in the California, in San Andreas.
San Andreas.
When you're in the San Francisco area, and you see the streets that go like zigzag. Where it's like right by there was like some like urban clothing shops, and like Richard decided like he needed new threads, and so, and I like he ended up getting one of the sickest fucking backpacks I've ever seen. It was like a backpack flak jacket.
You guys bought this with like your panhandling money?
He
did.
I didn't spend any of my panhandling money on no fucking gear.
Okay.
Except for socks. I just like would buy packages of socks and wear them until they were done, and then just like throw them out.
Yeah.
Go get a new package of socks. And I just was freeballing the entire time. I was like, wasn't trying to worry about underwear. I was like, I need these underwear when I go back, like when I can manage to clean them again. Like that's when I will wear those. And just freeballed the whole time. And we were, God, what happened? So he got us kicked out of there, and then he like went and got this fucking sick ass backpack. This backpack was fucking rad. It was like full on backpack, but it like clipped in the front like a bulletproof vest, and it looked like a bulletproof vest. It was a super cool backpack. But I was just like, really? Like, we're stranded? Like, I can't remember what else. Like, bought some new shoes. Then the sight of the new shoes was not a good idea, because he wanted to take them back the next day.
Yeah.
We couldn't remember what store he bought them from, so he just like demands that this one store take his fucking shoe back, to the point where they're like, fucking, we don't sell these here. And he's just like, bullshit, I bought it here yesterday. Just wigging the fuck out, to where like I was pretty much just like, I was worried that I was gonna get fucking arrested with him for trying to like return these shoes to a place that like he didn't buy them from. He didn't have the receipt, and so I just bounced. I just left. I just like walked off, zigzagged up a couple of streets until I was like just nowhere in sight, and I was just like, all right, well now I'm in San Francisco by myself. And I'm like walking around, like almost immediately get fucking, I'm like walking past this dude, and he's all, hey, do you know where any good bars are around here? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not 21, and I'm not even from here, I'm stranded, dude. And he was like, oh, how'd you get stranded? And so I like told him very, very short version of like how I ended up there. I'm like, I came down here on a hippie bus to go to a rave, and got separated from the bus, and now I'm just like stranded in San Francisco. And he's like, oh, the second day that me and Horton were there, we went to go sleep on the bus. Or not sleep on the bus, but let's ride the bus all night.
Right on.
We got on a bus that did not go all night.
No. Oh no.
So at some point,
You were just way out and not coming back?
at like 2 in the fucking morning, dude,
That sucks.
we're just like way somewhere.
It was just lacked up.
The last stop, and like in some like light commercial residential area.
Oh no.
You know, like there was houses around, but there was a couple of businesses on this like intermixed and shit. And we're like, what do you mean last stop? Like, doesn't the bus run all night? And they're like, not this line. And we're like,
Crappy.
well, what do we do?
They're like,
And he's
"I don't
like,
care, you gotta
yeah.
get off
And he's
the
like,
bus."
yeah, you got to get off the bus. And so like, we walked around. It was fucking freezing, and we like legit. I was like, you know what homeless people do when they're fucking got nowhere to sleep? Do they sleep in a box? I was like, Lions clubs will have fucking cardboard boxes, and so we ended up finding a bunch of cardboard behind some business that was like set out for recycling and shit. So we just like grabbed as much as we could carry, and like went into this like little like area with like it might have been some like tree and some bushes that were like up against a building, to where like we'd go back there and like be all homeless people. And we didn't like set the boxes up. We just like, I put a box on the ground, and then I just covered myself in boxes. just
God.
to like get some fucking warmth because it was just fucking freezing, dude.
Yeah.
It's cold as shit at night there in San Francisco. It's like really surprised me. And so that whole experience fucking sucked.
I bet.
I was like, that was a real introspective day. The next day, it was like I slept in a box for the first time today. Well, it was the last time too. I can't think of another time that I slept in a fucking box. Yeah, I only have the one sleeping in a box story, and that one's it. So yeah, sleeping in a box ain't no joke. It's fucking cold as shit. It sucks ass. It's not comfortable. You wake up in the morning because you're just fucking freezing to death.
That is sore, uncomfortable.
You gotta walk around until the buses start running again.
Oh.
At one point we were sitting at a bus stop, just like hanging out, me and Horton, and there's like this old black blind guy sitting at the bus station who was homeless, and he was like drinking some kind of, I think he was drinking MD 2020. And we're talking to him, he was like, we shared his MD 2020 with us. He was like, hey, you guys want some of this? And we're like, sure, man. We're like, we smoked a bowl with him. And he was like, so what are you guys doing out here? And like told him pretty much how we ended up there, and he was like, do you guys have family to go home to? And like Richard was like, I don't. He didn't, because his I know at least his dad, they're all like, I think died in a drunk driving accident.
Oh.
So he just straight up didn't have family to go home to. I was like, yes. And he was just like, you need to go there right now, swallow whatever pride is keeping you out here. He's like, before you end up like me. He's like, I can't even see. Like, he was like legit fucking blind, sitting on a fucking bus stop, like in the middle of downtown San Francisco, with like a cup out, a fucking bottle of MD 2020.
That's rough. That's rough life.
I was like, yeah, you know, it's about getting to that where I'm gonna have to call my dad. And so dude asks me, hey, do you know where a bar is? And I'm like, no. And I tell him that I'm stranded. He's just like, oh, that's awful. He's like, well, I'm house sitting for some friends of mine up in Berkeley. And he's like, you're more than welcome to come sleep on the couch if you want. And I was like, instantly just fucking rad. Because I was thinking to myself, like, I slept in a box last night. I don't give a fuck whose house I fucking sleep in, dude. And then I also was like, plus, I got a cousin that lives in Berkeley. I was like, fucking, there we go. And go, like, my cousin Janine lived at the time in Berkeley. Or it might have been Monica. I can't remember. Anyways, one of my Aunt Trudy's daughters. And he was like, yeah, and I'm having a lady friend come over tonight, so if you're into some like three-way action, we can get that going on too. And I was like, instantly remembered I'm in San Francisco.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, no, never mind, dude. And I just like walk off. He's like, oh, you don't have to. I'm like, no, I'm good. And I'm just like, the dude was way bigger than me. And I was just like, nope. Fucking instantly, like as soon as that happened, I was like, walked right around the corner, saw a phone booth, went and called my dad collect.
Did he answer?
Oh yeah, he answered. I was like, all right, I'm ready to come home. And he was like, are you? And I was like, yeah, I need a bus ticket from San Francisco. I'm like, I'm ready to come back home. Because like, I had gone like just from living in Spokane with Brian and like working at like Labor Ready pretty much regularly when I needed to. And talking to my mom all the time, at least once a week on Sundays. And I knew she was just gonna talk me, like try to like spend every waking moment trying to talk me not into going to the gathering.
Yeah.
So I just didn't tell her that I was going at all, and just quit calling her. This is when she got a hold of Brian. She's like, "Where's Curtis?" He's like, "He went off to the Rainbow Gathering out in Montana." He did not want me to go. So like, yeah, my dad was just fuck fairly pissed. He's like, I'm gonna send you this bus ticket. If you don't show up here, you don't come back. He's like, you gave your mom an ulcer already. I'm like, because I was just missing as far as they were concerned.
Good lord.
Like, didn't even call my dad. Like, I tried getting into town to call him on Father's Day, but like, couldn't get a ride into town.
That's so awful.
I feel really bad about that all the time when I think about that too.
Oh, it was so long ago.
Yeah.
You were a kid.
Yeah, especially now. It was like half a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, gosh. So he's like, yeah, I'll send you this bus ticket. You better fucking come back, or you don't come back ever. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm coming back. I'm ready to come home, man. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, I just was hit on by some fucking gay dude in San Francisco
And I don't want to go back to the box.
in 1999. And I was like thinking, well, yeah, like not gonna sleep in a box again. I'm not gonna get like sexually assaulted by some fucking dude trapping me into coming to his house. This is exactly how I took it. I was like, ah. So my dad sends me the bus ticket, and like the bus leaving San Francisco left fairly fast. It was like right away, pretty much. It had a layover in fucking Oakland that, like, it was like 2 or 3 hour layover or some shit like that.
Oh.
It was the scariest fucking bunch of shit ever, dude. I like took like one step outside and was like just instantly turned around. I'm like, no, like, I'm not trying to get murdered or mugged or anything. It's like walked up to this fucking security guard who was like standing there, you know, like being a security guard. And he's like, may I help you? I'm like, yeah, there's a layover. I'm just gonna stand next to you. I'm just gonna stand next to you till my bus takes off. And then I remember I called Eric at one point on my way up. I can't remember where I was. Oh, I called him from Oakland. And I told him about how, like, yeah, this is like I went on this big crazy hippie journey up in the middle of the woods, and then I'm like down in San Francisco stranded, and like on my way back home, I'm like pretty much in trouble when I get back home, even though I was like an adult.
Yeah.
I was just getting ready to turn 21. And Eric's like, oh, well, I can get you a job up here at San Juan Island. Like you just come up here. As soon as you get up here, you have a job waiting for you. Like doing housekeeping. And he was like, there's employee housing. There's a fucking employee store. And so like, as soon as I got off the bus, like went home, like talked to my dad. I'm like, so I got a job. Like up in San Juan Island, Eric Jacobs got me a job, so we're gonna be able to go do that. And my dad was just like, what? Like, I had a job before I even got home.
Yeah, I told you.
And so, went the fucking way longest bus ride ever. And it was like basically from San Francisco to, like I might have stayed in Kelso for like a day or two tops. And then it was like more fucking Greyhound up to San Juan Island. So then I lived in San Juan Island and worked there for a few months. So I remember as soon as I got to San Juan Island, like Eric was still at work, and I was, what's that? Okay. So I got to San Juan Island Resort and Marina, and Eric was still at work, and so I knew I was going to be staying in his room inside the under 21 housing. And like pretty much as soon as oh shit, pretty much as soon as I got there, like I knew my buddy Tim from Boy Scouts and just like growing up, and we went to Catlin together and whatnot. So I knew Tim, and a tall, lengthy fucking dude was like with him.
They're lengthy.
Yeah. And he was like, "This Curtis." He's like, "That's Curtis." He's like, "I know you." And he was like, "We went to Boy Scouts." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, he was like, "Yeah, Curtis is from Longview, and he's from Kelso." And instantly, Jeff's all like, "Do you have Longview weed? Did you bring Longview weed with you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did actually. I brought plenty of Longview weed with me." He was just like, "Fucking yes!" And like, weed on the fucking island is just so expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like
Well,
50,
yeah.
60 bucks an eighth.
Makes sense.
It was like basically double price. Yeah, so that's how I met Jeff. And I lived on San Juan Island until right around my 21st birthday. And then that's pretty much the end of story time with Curtis.
I love it.